In this video, I will be going over lesson 25, which is about area of rectangles and triangles. Our first part about doing this lesson is, well, we need to know what our area formulas are. So you need to have these written down so that you can solve these problems. You might remember that area of a square or rectangle is just base times height. Okay, so base times height, which is two of the different side lengths. An area of a triangle is almost the same, except we need to multiply it by 1/2. So 1/2 base times height. So here is our height of our triangle, and then our base is going to be all the way across the bottom. So I'm going to take my height and my base and also multiply them by 1/2. So again, you need to know these in order to solve these problems. Have them written down somewhere or take a picture so you can reference back to it. Our first question here says, use the image to answer the question, what is the area in square inches of the rectangle? Okay, so one thing about the course is that they like to give you mixed units, meaning if I look here, I have feet and I have inches. So you need to first look at your question and see, well, what unit do I need to have my answer in? And here it says inches, which means I need to take this 4/3 feet and change it to inches. You might recall that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So to change this back, I'm going to take that 4/3 and multiply it by 12. And you can use a calculator here. I recommend it just to help you go a bit faster and to make sure that we're not making any silly mistakes. So I have 4/3 and I'm going to multiply that by 12 and I get 16. So that means that each of these side lengths is going to be 16 inches. Okay, and to find the area of the rectangle, all I need to do is multiply my length times my width. So 15 times 16. And again, you can pull back that calculator to help us out here. I'm going to do 15 times 16, and that is going to give me 240. So that would mean that the area of my triangle is going to be 240 inches squared. So 240 inches squared. Our next question here is a little bit different in that this shape is definitely not a square or a triangle. However, if I look closely, I can see some cutouts of triangles and squares. Right here, I can see a triangle, okay? And if I were to cut this part down right here, here is another triangle. And then I have this square in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the area of these two squares and then the area of this rectangle in the middle and add everything together. Now, the one thing you want to be careful with is that you're using the right side lengths, okay? If I look at the top is 21 centimeters, and if I look at the bottom, it's kind of broken up. I can see from right here where my triangle stops, that is 6 centimeters, and then the rest of the side is 15. So make sure that you're using the right side lengths when you're multiplying. I'm going to start with this triangle right here, and I know that my area formula for a triangle is going to be 1/2 my base times height. So I have 1/2 times my base, which is 6, times my height, which is 8. So I'm going to have 1/2 times 48. Half of 48 is going to be 24. So this is the area. So my area right here for this triangle is going to be 24 centimeters squared. This triangle over here is going to be the exact same. Okay, this part up here is going to be 6 and this is going to be 8, which means that this area is also going to be 24 centimeters squared. So the next part that we need to do is figure out, well, what is the area of this rectangle in the center? Area of my rectangle is base times height. So my base is going to be 15 and my height is going to be 8. And now we got to do 15 times 8, so bring back our calculator. 15 times 8 is going to give me 120. Don't forget that we have to add in these two sides of the 24. Okay, so I'm going to do 120 plus 24 plus 24, and that is going to give me 168. So that means that the total area of this figure is going to be 168 centimeters squared. So again, I had to kind of break up the shape. However, we were still able to do it pretty quickly, knowing our area formulas. Our next question says, use the image to answer the question, what is the area in square inches of the triangle? So on this one here, they love to give you information that you don't need. Remember that our formula is 1/2 base times height. So remember, the base of your triangle is always going to be the bottom, and the height is going to be the tallest point, which is our peak, all the way down to our base. So we are using the 14 and the 20. This 16.64 and this 17.8 we will never use. Okay, we don't need to know that information to find the area of this triangle. So again, I know my base and my height are 20 and 14, so I need to do 1/2 times 20 times 14. And again, feel free to type this into your calculator. So I have 1/2, and I'm going to multiply that by 20, and I'm going to multiply that by 14. And I get 140. So the area of my triangle in square inches is going to be 140 inches squared. Next question says, what is the approximate area in square feet? Okay, so I want to know what the answer is in square feet, but if I look, I am given inches. Right here is inches and here is inches. Because I'm given inches, I need to change to feet before I start multiplying and putting it into my formula, okay? That step is important. You cannot do it after. When you do it after, it does not give you the right answer, okay? When you do it after, it's kind of like you're taking a scale factored image of what the triangle is and not the actual image. So make sure that you're converting your units first. So we always want to convert units first. In order to convert from inches to feet, since there are 12 inches in 1 foot, I need to divide both of these numbers by 12. So I'm going to do 48 divided by 12, and then I'm going to do 39 and divide that by 12. Oops, not 4. 12. So 48 divided by 12 is going to be 4. 39 divided by 12 is going to give us a little bit different of an answer, since that is not going to be exact. 39 divided by 12, it's going to give us 3.25. So now I know what my two side lengths are in feet. So now I can plug them into my 1/2 base times height formula. So I have 1/2 times my base times height. And from here, all I need to do is type all three of those numbers back into my calculator. So 1/2, and I'm going to multiply that by 4 times 3.25, and I get 6.5. So my area of my triangle in square feet is going to be 6.5 feet. So again, always look at your diagram and make sure that the units that you're given on your diagram match the units that they're asking you to find in the question. Okay, like I said earlier, the course likes to give you mix match units or units that you need to convert. So don't forget to double check those. Our next question says, use the image to answer the question, what is the area in square units of the composite figure? This is a composite figure because I can see that there is a rectangle and then I have a square on the top. So we need to figure out both areas separately. Okay, this is kind of like what we did on that question earlier. I need to figure out, well, what is the area of this big rectangle down here, and then what's the area of the triangle on top? So let's figure out what the area of the rectangle is. So we're going to find the area of the rectangle. We're going to add it to the area of the triangle. The area of my rectangle down here, this is base times height. Okay, so I'm going to have 16 times 15, and I can type that into a calculator. 16 times 15 is going to give me 240. So this area of my rectangle is 240. And then I need to find the area of my triangle up here. Now notice I'm given my height. However, I don't have a number down here at my base. But if I look straight down, this says that it is 16, which means that the base of this part up here is also 16. Okay, think about having a rectangle. Both opposite sides on your rectangle are going to have the same length or the same width. So to find the area of my triangle, I'm going to do 1/2 base times height. So that's 1/2 times 5 times 16. And let's type that into our calculator. So 1/2 times 5 times 16, and that's going to give us 40. So the area of my triangle was 40. So to figure out the total area of this composite figure, all we need to do is add those two numbers together. So 240 plus 40 is going to give me 280. So the area of this figure is going to be 280 units squared. Alright, next question. This one looks a little bit weird, but as long as we kind of break it into parts, it's really not that bad. And the cool thing about this one is that we don't actually have to solve for the final area. We just need to pick which one of these expressions we would use to actually solve for it. And when I look here, I can see a rectangle and I can also see a triangle. So if I were to outline this right here, this is going to be my rectangle, all this here, and then my triangle is going to be this little part over here. Okay, so starting with our rectangle, I need to count my length and width. So starting here, I have one, two, why is it doing that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then going up, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So to figure out the length or the area of my rectangle, I'm going to do 8 times 7. Then for my little triangle here, I need to figure out my base and my height. And it's kind of a bit strange because my triangle is sideways. However, I know that the base is going to be this bottom part here. Okay, so here I have 1, 2, 3, so that's 3 spaces. And then remember, the height of your triangle is the very, very point. So right here I have 1, 2, 3. So the height of my triangle is also 3. Remember that the area formula is going to be 1/2 base times height. My base and height on this triangle are both 3. So I'm going to have 1/2 3 times 3. So I'm looking for a expression here where I'm doing my 7 times 8 for my triangle, and then I'm adding it to 1/2 3 times 3 from my triangle. Sorry, this is my rectangle. I apologize. If I look here, there's a 1/2 on both of these, so that can't be right. Here, there's no 1/2. That can't be right. On this bottom one, my 1/2 is attached to my 7 times 8, but this isn't my triangle. This is my rectangle, so that 1/2 should not be attached there, which means this one is going to be the answer I want to pick. So I have 7 times 8 times my 1/2 times 3 times 3. Alright, next problem says that a parallelogram is made up of a rectangle with a base of 12 centimeters and a height of 5 centimeters. The two triangles, each with a base of 2 centimeters and a height of 5 centimeters. Jeremy calculates the area of the parallelogram by multiplying the base and the height and gets 60. Is Jeremy's answer correct? Why or why not? Okay, so with this one, I think it's almost easier to start out with kind of drawing a picture to see what's happening here. So we have a parallelogram and it's made up of a rectangle and two triangles. So I don't necessarily know what order they're in. However, it could look something like this. Like I have a rectangle here and I'm going to put my two triangles on the end like this. So he multiplies the rectangle and gets 60 centimeters. And that's correct because here would be 12 and 5. So 12 times 5 would give me 60. And he says that's his final answer. However, what about these triangles on the end here? He's forgetting to find the area of those triangles and figure out, well, what's the area of those? I have to add that to it. So no, Jeremy did not solve this answer correctly. He forgot to add the area of the triangles with the area of the rectangle. All right, next question says that a parallelogram has a base of 5 centimeters and a height of 12 centimeters and is stacked on top of a square with a side length of 5. So Hannah calculates the area of the parallelogram by multiplying the base and the height and get 60 centimeters, then dividing by 2 to get 30. Okay, so let's draw a picture here. It says that there is a base of 5 and a height of 12, okay? And then on top of that is a square, like this. Okay. So the first part that I automatically say, well, why did she do that? She finds the area of the parallelogram, which is fine, but then she divides it by 2. And remember that you're only dividing by 2 or multiplying by a half when you have a triangle. And I don't see any triangles on this image that we drew here based off of the description. So I'm going to say no, she did not calculate the area correctly, and that's because she didn't calculate the area right. The area that she found is wrong because we didn't have a triangle, we had a rectangle and a square. So she incorrectly calculated the area. So that is where Hannah made her mistake. Next one says that a plane cuts through a rectangular pyramid. The plane goes through the vertex of the pyramid and is perpendicular to the base. Which image shows the cross section formed by the triangle cut? These questions are super easy as long as you don't make them too complicated. All that this question is asking is, well, what is the shape? This shape here, you guys can see it kind of outlined in white. What is this shape? This is a triangle. So a triangle is what is formed by this cross section. Cross sections I love because usually when they do the cross section, you can see your answer pretty clearly from the image. All right, next one. So again, we have a cross section with the pyramid, and we want to know what's the shape formed by the cut. So again, we can kind of see it here. It's a bit darker. And if I look at it, that looks like a trapezoid. So a trapezoid is the shape that is formed by this cross section. And that is it for lesson 25. If you have any questions, please let me know.